Right now, there are a lot of people our age who are finding it really hard to even get a job or find out what they want to do in the future because people talk about AI automating everything.
The worst thing you can do is make someone your co-founder because they are your friend. What it should be is that they're a qualified, competent individual.
You get mixed opinions on it. Some are like, oh, that's great because you already have a good relationship. And then other people say, don't start any kind of work thing with your friends.
Whoever discovers room temperature superconductors, that's a guaranteed Nobel Prize. So that's a very, very interesting field and a very, very difficult field. Like the number one thing that I have learned from my experience building Palmify is that from day one, you and your co-founders figure out your exact responsibilities.
Obviously, renewable energy tech is growing a lot, and people are saying, well, solar turbines are all the same thing, but the difference is whether or not the batteries are efficient enough.
If some researcher figures it out, then you can, if you're up to date with ongoing research, then you can get into that field. So you don't need to really discover room temperature superconductors to make a bunch of money from.
Hello, Malik.
Hi, Kai.
Welcome to Kai's Circle again. This is actually our second time filming this.
Yes.
Yeah, back before I had an actual studio, but we're back again.
Yes.
And quite a lot has happened for you since then.
Correct.
Yes. So as a little introduction, Malik, at just age, you're 21?
Yeah.
Yep. So you've just finished at one of the top universities in the world. You are going to do even more exciting things over the summer and in the next year. And throughout all of that, you've got one of the biggest EdTech startups in the UK.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest?
It's not, depends how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not anymore.
Okay, but
There
over
are
300k.
400 already.
Over 400k
Yes.
already.
Yes, but now some other ones like Medley or like Maverick, they get a lot of funding. So they're now having
But
some
you
good
bootstrapped
traction.
it.
We bootstrapped. We were about to raise, and we had conversations with the VCs, with angel investors from Singapore, from London, from India. We had a lot of talks, and we were really close to raising. And then we decided to not do that and to continue studying, just because we thought that we could build something much more bigger and much more ambitious, deep tech rather than software. Software is too competitive right now. It's getting a bit crazy.
Yeah, it is. So you've done all of that just at age 21. But right now, there are a lot of people our age who are finding it really hard to even get a job or find out what they want to do in the future because people talk about AI automating everything. But how do you think you were able to be so successful at such a young age, even though everyone is saying Gen Z are doomed?
I appreciate that. It's a good question. I think that what really helps is finding what you want to do, which is a hard task, right? It took me 20 years, and then took me 20 years to think that I know what I want to do. And then I was pursuing that for 1.5 years, which was Palmify, and it was going well. After 1.5 years, I realized that this is not what I want to do. And now I'm focusing more on studying, and so that I can, as I said, build something bigger in the future. So I think a large portion of doing well as a young person is knowing exactly what you want to do, so that you can put all your focus in that one thing. And that would really be my primary advice. I tell it to my brother all the time, or my little brother, to figure out exactly what you want to do from young age. Because if you look at let's do a crazy example, like a Mark Zuckerberg, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was coding for a while before he got to Harvard. Then he got to Harvard and he was doing all these cool things. And because he knew exactly what he wanted to do and exactly what he's good at for such a long time, he was able to then drop out of Harvard to pursue Facebook. And now, look where he is now. Yeah, I don't need to explain that. So I think that's the biggest thing. I met guys that, for example, I met this guy, he studies at UCL, and he's been building robots since he was 12. And I was like, okay, if I do, let's say, robotics for my master's, no matter how much I do, I will never be as good as he is. He's been doing that since he was 12, and he's still doing it. And now he's opening his own startup in London, building like humanoids again, and he's like my age. So it's pretty crazy. So yeah, that's the biggest advice I could give to anyone young. Figure out what your passion is, which again is a very hard thing to do, but I think that's the best decision you could do.
So how old were you when you first knew like what direction you exactly wanted to
I
go?
still don't. Still
figuring
but at 19, after my first year at Imperial, I decided that I would want to do software. Like, you didn't have Claude codes and cursors and all that stuff back then. You had ChatGPT, and most people, if they wanted to, let's say, vibe code, that wasn't a term back then as well.
Oh, really?
Then they would just, it came a bit later. They would just copy and paste from ChatGPT, and that's how I was learning. I was trying to build like web pages, and I had like a long ass YouTube video on one screen and a ChatGPT on another screen, and I was trying to build. It took me like 4 hours to build one page, like a sign up page, whereas now you can do that in like a minute. So yeah, I was like 19, 20, probably 19 when I decided I wanted to do software, and I started doing that, and that led to. First, I started a medtech startup that didn't go anywhere.
Okay. What was the aim with that? Like,
The
what did the medtech startup do?
It was like a family health management platform.
Okay.
I thought that would be pretty cool if you had like a AI agent that could see health data about all your family members, and you as a parent can manage your family's health and see what's, what I mean, something like that. But now actually some London guys, Juno, I think, have you heard of them? Juno? They're YC backed.
Yeah.
They're doing something similar. They're doing chronic and for individuals only, but it's also like a medical AI companion. I was trying to do something similar, but for health, but I ran into a lot of issues when it comes to compliances, and you have all those compliance. It's health data.
Medtech is very complicated.
Exactly. Yes, and then I went to EdTech because I thought that would be a bit easier. It still has some headaches when it comes to compliances, but generally it's much easier. And that led to a pretty good outcome.
But going into the EdTech startup, were you doing it just to learn how to be a CEO and how to create a business, or were you very passionate about let's help people?
Okay, I was never passionate. People keep asking me like, "Are you gonna do EdTech in the future?" Well, I don't care about EdTech. I'm trying not to swear. I don't care about EdTech.
Oh no, you can swear.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not EdTech, but EdTech just seemed. When you are starting a startup, a company, you usually should do it in an industry that you personally understand, right? If you've worked in marketing for 10 years, and you can make some marketing agency, whatever. That's how usually people do it. And when you are a student, the only thing you really know how to do is study, right? You've been doing that your entire life. That was kind of the idea behind EdTech, which is, by the way, the reason why EdTech is so populated. You have this trend, startup trend. Everyone is trying to build something amongst students, and because students are only good at studying, that's why a large portion of them are building study tools. That's why you have a bunch of them.
I think you got into it at a good time, because now not every other person, but a lot of people do have EdTech startups, and
yes, it's a bit of a joke.
You
nowadays.
got there early, so it's like better. But
yes, yeah. I wasn't that. You had like companies like I think they're called some German startup, and they've been doing that since like 2018. Yeah. Before AI, they were trying to do EdTech. So they got there super early. But for us, we got there earlier than the general public. That's why we've been more successful than an average startup.
Yeah. And this was in your second year of Imperial?
Yeah, just the beginning of second year.
Yeah. And did that happen after you found your co-founder, or how did that build along the way?
Yeah, his name is Adam. I met him in my first year, and after speaking to him, I was really excited. He was doing some cool things at 18. He was back in first year. He was doing marketing agencies. He was like very, very successful compared to an average, even Imperial student, let alone an average 18-year-old.
Yeah, Imperial students are crazy. But yeah.
So I found that really cool, and I was talking to him about starting something for a while. In at the end of first year, we were thinking about doing some things. We were trying to make like a intelligence battle, but for money, so that Imperial students can play with their egos and play against another Imperial student, see who's smarter, and take a commission.
Would be cool. Yeah.
I think too many people tried that. I think that doesn't go anywhere. So we were thinking about that. So we were thinking about something for a while, and then over the summer, then I learned how to code, and I got myself familiar with AI and what it can do and how you can build those chatbots and agents. And then in August I started building this medtech startup. It was called FamCare. FamCare, yeah, I think that's a cool name.
That's a cool name.
And I was doing that myself. Then after I realized that I cannot do that myself without funding as well, because I just learned coding, right? And I need to handle those compliances. I need to do GDPR, HIPAA. I need to do so much. After that, I realized, okay, I'm not gonna do medtech. I'm gonna go EdTech, as I said. And I came to Adam straight away. I was like, okay, I want to do this. I told him straight away that we will make money. It's because we are students. We can at least sell it to some students. And as you previously mentioned, a large portion of why we decided to do it is for experience, to just get ourselves out there,
Yeah,
just try things out. Experience, money. That was pretty much it. The two things why I wanted to do it. And he agreed straight away. It didn't take any convincing. He wanted to try things out as well. We just started. And we had another friend, his name was Tamin, who started with us, and he left a bit later. So me and Adam were planning to do something for at least 6 months prior to Palmify start.
Do you recommend other people to also start businesses with their friends? Or because you get mixed opinions on it. Some are like, oh, that's great because you already have a good relationship. And then other people say, don't start any kind of work thing with your friends.
Well, first of all, who else if not your friend, right? How many people can you really trust? That's one thing. And now, but on the other hand, it will ruin relationships. Like these kinds of things ruin relationships between friends. And so it's a bit crazy. But yeah, generally I would say it's a good idea, but the worst thing you can do is make someone your co-founder because they are your friend. What it should be is that they're a qualified, competent individual in a specific, and they have a specific set of skills that would be useful for that specific startup, and they happen to be your friend as a bonus. Mm-hmm. So number one is competence. Number two is friendship. In my personal opinion, because I feel like you can build friendship much with a competent person much easier than you can make a useless friend a competent person.
No, definitely. I think the point about competence is so good because I've seen people love their friends so much that they'll try start something with them and then they forget that actually that friend isn't qualified enough to do that. But Adam was your CMO?
We didn't have any names in the beginning. We were just doing things, and then so we just didn't want to put name tags on ourselves and those CEOs, CMOs, and then later we just decided that I wanted to be CEO because I was doing more of everything. I was kind of trying to control this, control that. Adam was hyper focused on marketing. But again, Adam didn't care at all about his name tag. I wanted to be because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then Adam was planning to leave the company anyways. So yeah, it just naturally developed into me being the CEO. And he was, I don't even know, COO, operational officer.
Okay. Do you think, because I think a lot of people watching this are maybe thinking about making a startup or going into that space. Do you think it is better to not name the roles of your co-founders?
Definitely
earlier?
name it. Definitely. It
definitely
was a big
do.
mistake that we didn't make it.
Okay.
The worst thing that early startups do, one of my, let's call them mentors, my dad's friend, he helps me a lot with business and gives me a lot of advice. He has the term, he says it's called party startup, which is, you're at a party with your friends and you say, yo, let's make business, let's make some money. And then you just start and nobody has any responsibilities. You can just kind of go with it and you're all co-founders because you're friends. And that's generally a very, very bad thing to do. Like the number one thing that I have learned from my experience building Palmify is that from day one, you and your co-founders figure out your exact responsibilities. Who is the decision maker in marketing? Who is the decision maker in product? Who is the decision maker in here and there? You have that difficult equity conversation, which many people avoid. You have the responsibility conversation. You have all those difficult conversations, those awkward conversations with your friends before you start doing anything else. That's the most important thing. So that's 100% the number one thing, the most important thing that I've learned from Palmify.
Yeah, definitely have the hard conversations. And with all the equity stuff, did you actually sign a contract?
We did not. We did not do it. We were a party startup.
Okay.
We didn't even talk about equity. We kind of assumed it would be 50-50, and that's how 33-30, because there were three of us, equal split. And we just went with it. And to this day, I don't think me and Adam ever signed. We later, after we started fundraising, at that time, I think Adam already left the company. Obviously, when you start fundraising and you start being a serious company, then you need to have all the official documents. And after that, I have signed my contract, and the other guys that came later, like Avi, he was my CGO, and we had some other members of the team. So after we expanded our team and we started fundraising, we then started to be a more of a serious company with all the documents, everything properly done. But before that, we were just a bunch of students doing that as a side thing. And so we didn't sign anything. I don't think Adam ever signed a contract saying that he is. Oh, actually, yeah, only after we set up a company, an official company, which took us a while to do. Obviously, for that, you need some kind of documentation, some kind of official document saying who owns how many shares.
I love the phrase party startup, though.
Yes. It describes most startup nowadays.
Yeah. How much have your mentors helped you with that? Because I think a lot of people don't have mentors and they want to hear some wisdom.
I don't have many as well. I don't have, I'm not really good at that, outreaching and asking people to be my mentor. My dad is definitely my mentor. Obviously, he helps me a lot. And as I said, one of his best friends, he's from Turkey and he builds a lot of companies. He has experience in tech. He has helped me a lot as well. It's just, they're older people. They've been through much more. They've made much more mistakes. They've made much more successful decisions. So it's just so much experience. You can be like a sponge that just absorbs as much knowledge as you can. But when it comes to finding, I don't know. I just have my dad and his friend, and that's pretty much everyone.
I know some people have started startups that help people find mentors. Like, have you seen those? There are some on YFL.
There's a startup for everything nowadays.
I know there is. But it'll be like a website where you search up who you're looking for and then it will link you with a mentor. I prefer finding mentors like organically.
You could do LinkedIn, no? Isn't
I
that
know,
right?
or you could just do LinkedIn, but apparently this is supposed to be less friction. I don't know,
I guess.
potentially.
Ah.
I haven't personally used it though, so I can't vouch.
Is it a popular product?
I do not know. Probably not.
I've never heard of it, but
Okay.
I guess it could be useful. I don't even know. I would never pay for such a thing. I would just use LinkedIn.
Do lots of people ask you for advice on their own?
Nowadays they
Because
do.
you've done. Are you not part of a mentorship program where you are the mentor?
Oh, I was actually
You were at some point.
I
Right?
I was at a Imperial Idea Forge. It's basically a startup accelerator from Imperial, and it's mostly medtech actually. They have a bunch of medtech startups there, and I was a mentor there this year for another EdTech startup. There was like one EdTech. It's called A-Star. Yeah, you obviously know them.
Yeah.
And I was mentor there, and yeah, I mean, this year suddenly I started getting a bunch of DMs on my LinkedIn asking for advice. I never had that before, and so I would say that I'm trying to help out people. I usually reply to everyone. I'm trying to,
That's good.
but yeah, so I'm kind of a bit there. Not there yet, but getting there.
What would you say was your biggest mistake when starting off in the startup world, and your biggest good thing that you did?
Good thing that I
Success.
did. That's a good question. Biggest mistake would probably be not having the hard conversations early on, as I said before. I think that just slows down so many things because me and Adam, for example, we disagree on so many things, and we because we were always equal. We always had equal equities. We would argue for a while. We didn't have this one decision maker, and yes, and I started with Adam was my co-founder. Actually, he was my co-founder for two reasons. I came to him for two reasons. One, because he had experience in marketing. Two, because he was my friend. But I did make a mistake of, getting people in and starting things with people because they are my friends. That just slows things down and makes it super weird. You should never do that. That probably was the biggest mistake. And we did a lot of good things. I don't know.
Your favorite good thing?
I don't know. Favorite good thing was just we tried. I tell the story all the time about how we got our first viral video. So we
Oh, it's a great video.
have you watched it, the Jason video?
We'll insert it up here. But yeah, explain the video.
Yes, like before that video, we would just try so many things to get our name out there, and most of them wouldn't work, and we would just try, and we would sit in the library and just brainstorm. We wanted to go and interview people. Adam wanted to buy a big, what's it called, like a wheel that you can spin. And he wanted to come to people and make them spin the wheel and one of the prizes would be the subscription, whatever.
Okay.
Like we would just brainstorm so much. And so that, I don't know what the correct word is, but is it relentlessness?
Yeah, just be relentless with you.
When it comes to marketing, when it comes to trying to get those views and trying to get that attention, is probably our biggest success. Because a lot of people nowadays, a lot of startups, because there are so many startups, struggle with getting attention. And we were struggling with getting attention from our potential customers for like a while. And we would just keep going, think, so many things. We would just focus on that 100%. Me, Adam, Tamin, all three of us would just brainstorm until we figured out what we were doing. The video, we would just, after so many tries, we would just, me and Adam were sitting in the library and we filmed probably 20 videos of each other, kind of like those promotional videos that we would post on TikTok. And then Jason, this random Chinese guy that we've never met before, just pulled up and in this heavy Chinese accent, started asking us questions and whatever. And Adam took his phone, started filming how I was giving the guy the demo. And the combination of the natural reaction and funny Chinese accent and a unique product at the time. Obviously, now it's not that unique because everyone's doing it. But at the time, especially in the UK, you had no such thing. That combination is probably the reason why it got to, I think it was 200,000 views on TikTok within 24 hours. Now it's like 400,000.
Such a funny video.
Yes, Jason was a hilarious guy. But yeah, so that just constantly brainstorming how we could grab as much attention as possible was probably our biggest success. And after that, after we figured out what it takes, this is where we stopped being so crazy about it, and we made it more, I want to say, structural. We made, like, I stopped filming videos myself. I stopped worrying about that. We got Joaquin. I don't know if you know Joaquin. He was my friend from high school. He came, he offered his help. He became our CMO, and he helped us with optimizing our UGC campaigns. And him and Adam would work 24/7 to obviously already systemize it, make it more structural, make it an actual system. So yeah, we've had this good progress from this crazy mess of brainstorming ideas when it comes to marketing to a system. And this progress of, let's say, our marketing is probably our biggest achievement.
Would you say marketing is the most important thing in a business?
No, I would not.
No.
I would say, well, it depends what kind of business. If you are building another fitness app, then yeah, you're not doing anything. You're not gonna get anywhere without good marketing. But I don't think you build a unicorn on marketing alone.
No.
I think the most important thing, and I'm a big believer in product first, marketing second, even though that goes against most people. Adam disagrees with me to this day.
Really?
But I do think that if you want to build, if you want to make 10, 50K a month, which is good money, but if you want to get to that level, then you can get to that level by building an okay product that is not super unique, but you have very good marketing, which is kind of what we did, right? We didn't build some revolutionary, crazy new product. We stole the idea, not stole is a bad word, but we got inspired by similar product in the US,
The phrase
and we just
is like
adapted it.
copy from the best.
Copy from the best.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, again, so that's kind of what we did. But I think if you want to reach that big level, if you're that ambitious, then it should be product first. But obviously it's a combination of both. Like the guys from Suna, you've heard of them, right? They're doing a fantastic job. The product that they're about to release, I don't know, in like a few months, I think 2027, I think it was.
Yeah.
Seems super cool. I've never seen such a thing, and it seems actually like they're promising that they will be able to count your calories that you consumed, which are based on your yeah, which is crazy. I've never heard of such a thing. That would, if that works and works well, that would kill so many fitness apps.
Yeah.
And they're doing a fantastic job of building in public. So that's like a perfect example of a startup that has both. So I think that's if you want to have a good example of doing both as an early stage startup, then you should look at Suna.
For sure. I see them everywhere. Not all the time, but every night. It's like memorable marketing.
Yes, yeah. Like Celine, she's doing a fantastic job. I've never seen, well, it's her. I've seen her, and I've seen this guy who's trying to be the next Steve Jobs. I don't know if you've seen this guy. He's like some Stanford guy. His company is called Walnut.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm really bad of names, but I probably have seen it.
His name's Tony. I don't know what this guy is. He just got to Stanford, and they're trying to build a consumer technology company, and they're trying to be the next Apple or whatever. He's doing a good job of building in public as well, though his product seems pretty, like they build like a vibrating headband, which I don't know. Don't seem like a good idea. But again, you got to start somewhere. But they're also doing a good job of building in public. So like Celine and that guy, I think his name is Tony. I might be wrong. Like I've never seen such a good example of building in public. I'm learning so much from them and from how they're building and how they're getting attention before the product is released.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're providing value and they haven't actually released the product.
yeah, so it's like super impressive, and you should definitely look at them and learn a lot from them.
But do you think that they went through a messy phase before they systemized everything as well? Like, do you think it's necessary to kind of make the mistakes and then get good at it? Or do some people just start off and they're good?
Well, it depends what's your background. Even though we started super messy, but we got good relatively quickly compared to, it took us like what, 1 to 2 months to start getting those consistent views. So it depends on your background. It definitely depends on talent. Adam is naturally talented at speaking to the camera and getting the viewer's attention. He's really good at that. I'm definitely not as good at it. I tried to speak to, again, it's completely different. Our entire team tried to replicate Adam's videos, but it's just like he's naturally very charismatic, so it works well for him. So it depends on that too. But it's a lot of factors, but it depends.
Yeah, makes sense. But this summer, am I right in saying you're going to a startup school?
If I get my visa, then yes.
Yes.
YC startup school.
And what would this help you with? Like, describe the school. And which CEO, I forget who's it run by again.
Well, it's organized by Y Combinator.
Yeah.
And but they will have those guest speakers, OpenAI CEO, Sam Altman, and NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, Kalshi CEO, I believe, I don't know what this guy's name is, and some other guys, I don't remember exactly. But it seems super cool. Now, what they're gonna say is not the reason why I am super excited about it, even though it is interesting what they're about to say. But the people that are going to be there is, I think that's the primary reason why it's super cool. Like they're claiming that they have the best engineers in the world, and they're going to be guys from Stanford, from MIT, from CMU, from a bunch of kids from Imperial got in. So for meeting those great, smart engineers my age, or even younger than me, I'm really excited about it. So if I get my visa, then I will definitely be going. Yes.
Yeah. And how did you actually get in? Is there a really big application process for this?
It's very similar to the YC application process, the actual accelerator. When you apply for the accelerator, they have this founder section where you answer questions about yourself as a founder, and everyone in your founding team has to do it. So this application for the YC Startup School is very similar, if not identical, to that application. So it's not that long. It's probably like 10, 20 questions. Some are more interesting, some are less interesting. There are some weird questions that don't make sense.
Like what?
There's a question: what is the non-computer system that you have hacked, which makes no sense to me. I don't know what that means.
What's a non-computer system you've hacked?
It's like I guess some real life thing. I don't even know. I don't remember what I said, but it's just a question that confuses everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I've applied to Y Combinator before that, I already had answers that I just copied and pasted. And yeah, it took them a while to respond to me. But yeah, a lot of people got in. I thought it would be like 500 people to 1,000. Actually, I think it's 6,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, that got in.
I didn't know it's that many. Yeah.
So it's going to be a big event.
Yeah, that's huge.
But it's still exciting.
Yeah, no, that's
just going to be very crowded.
Yeah. And after that, so for your master, either robotics or material science for your masters.
Yes.
What do you hope to do with those in the future? Like, do you want to go into semiconductors or like humanoid robots, or where do you kind of see your future career going into?
It's a good question. It depends. It depends on the visa situation. Geopolitics affects my future a lot
Yeah.
because I hold a Russian passport. So that's just a big red flag when it comes to all the visa officers. But I was originally planning to go to UPenn to do robotics for my master's. I was really excited about that, even though I don't have that much experience in robotics. I have some electronics experience, but not much. So everyone's talking about robotics now, right? It's a very rising field. Obviously, putting AI, this revolutionary thing, into a piece of hardware and make it move in 3 dimensions and adapt to its environment. So it's super cool and a very exciting field, and a very difficult field because it's an intersection of electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and computer science. So that's super cool, but unfortunately, I didn't get my visa. I'll try to reapply again.
Yeah.
So probably what I'm gonna do is do my master's at material science. And to be honest, I'm sad. I'm actually very happy because the thing with robotics is I think I spoke to you about this before. There are people that have been doing that for 10 years, 20 to 10 years, 15 years that are my age. Like they've been doing that since they were kids. And it's hard to compete with those kinds of people. So I would have to do a lot of catching up if I would go in robotics. Whereas in materials, I'm already at the forefront of knowledge when it comes to people my age. So it would definitely be much easier, and it's super exciting. And materials, it's a field that will never die. It's not. It's because whatever you do, you'll always need materials, and you have those very exciting things like semiconductors. Semiconductors is actually a very interesting topic because university and those let's say academic level of semiconductor research is so much behind. It's very much behind the industry. I don't know if I make sense right now.
Yeah,
but
because the industry develops so quickly. It must be hard to actually catch up.
Exactly.
With the
So you have those. You have TSMC. I've been talking to our professor just before that about this. You have those companies like TSMC that are developing those chips, and they're doing that behind closed doors, and they don't tell the world about their research. They don't tell it's a big secret. Whereas, obviously, if you do academic knowledge is public, right? You release your paper to the world. So if you learn, so semiconductors is interesting because if whatever you learn in university, you'll still be 20 years behind the actual industry. So it's a very difficult field to get in. And it's the most advanced piece of technology humans have ever built. There's nothing more. Like the moon landing seems like a walk in the park compared to ASML, extreme UV lithography machine. And again, there's this long supply chain. Again, I've never seen any industry where there's only one company in the world that can do a specific thing.
It's crazy.
I've never seen such thing. ASML, the only company in the world that can do extreme UV lithography, basically drawing those small patterns at 4 or 5 nanometer scale. And in order to do that, you need mirrors. And there's only one company in the world that produces those specific mirrors. So it's crazy. So it's very interesting, but it's probably the most difficult field to get in. But there are also things with ongoing research going on, like superconductors. This is something that I'm very interested in.
Ooh, I haven't heard of a superconductor yet.
Because the thing with superconductors is that we can only achieve superconductivity in a material if we cool it down to a very, very low temperature. So it's not as scalable, I'm sure you've seen on like TikTok those videos of flying magnets. I don't know if you have. Those magnets that they're basically flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are basically superconductors. And if you look at superconductor videos, you'll see that there's this smoke. I don't know what's called, like, liquid nitrogen has this smoke or whatever that is, steam.
Yeah, like a kind of misty.
Yes, that thing.
Yeah.
So the point is, you use liquid nitrogen to cool them down, and that's the only way we can have superconductors. Superconductors, what they are basically is, those are materials with zero resistivity. So electrons just flow ballistically with no resistance whatsoever. That is number one. Obviously, these materials conduct way better than anything else. Number two, they don't heat up because there's no resistance. And they expel all the magnetic fields. So basically, you can do so much with superconductors. It's actually insane. Like, once we achieve room temperature superconductors, and there's, again, an ongoing research into that, the world will be completely changed. It will be insane. It will look like Wakanda.
Really insane.
It's just super interesting. But again, it's very, very difficult. And whoever discovers room temperature superconductors, that's a guaranteed Nobel Prize.
Mm.
So that's a very, very interesting field and a very, very difficult field. But that's also an exciting thing about material. Again, so you can do those super cool futuristic things in material science. That's why it's very exciting. But it is also probably the most difficult things to achieve, like those superconductors, those lithography machines that ASML make. Maybe you can do an X-ray lithography, which is even smaller. Those are like super exciting but super hard.
Yeah, especially if the education system is like behind with where
Yes.
the industry.
Whereas in superconductors, it's actually not behind. It's actually up to date.
Okay.
You don't have those massive superconductor companies.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. But as soon as they figure it out, then it will be crazy. The world will go crazy. Superconductors will make billionaires once researchers figure out how to make them at room temperatures.
Is that exactly what you're going to try to do? You can be the
Maybe.
superconductor guy
Well,
who figures out
look,
room temperature superconductors.
Well, you need to do PhD into that.
Yeah,
like,
like
it's
a
a very,
lot,
very difficult
yeah.
field. Maybe if some researcher figures it out, then you can, if you're up to date with ongoing research, then you can get into that field. So you don't need to really discover room temperature superconductors to make a bunch of money from it. You can supply a specific piece of equipment that makes, there's so much you can do once researchers figure it out. You don't actually have to be the researcher.
Yeah, you can still
Still
make
exciting.
your good money.
Yes.
Yeah. Is the aim just to make lots of money from it? And
From something
obviously
cool.
it's very interesting,
Yeah.
but I feel like everyone just wants to have their like stake in the industry. Well, not stake, but like their business where they
Stake.
actually make. Well, no, they're like their part in the industry where they can actually make their money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Depends on the person.
I'm glad I actually know what you're talking about with all the semiconductors because Adam made me read Chip War.
Really?
Yes.
He makes me read that too.
Did you read the
I actually
whole
find it
thing?
very interesting.
It took me so long to read it because it was so complex. Well, as someone who studies politics, like I didn't even know what any of it meant beforehand, so it took me.
It's actually very interesting how politics and technology overlap. Semiconductors is, I mean, you probably know this by now. Semiconductors is one of those technological fields that impact politics
Yeah.
probably like nothing else. Look at Taiwan.
Yeah, exactly.
They call it a semiconductor shield
Yeah.
from China because TSMC is what makes Taiwan so important to America, which is why America protects Taiwan. Super interesting.
Yeah, they call it like the silicon shield, don't they?
Yeah,
Something-
silicon
yeah.
shield. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, silicon shield. But it's very interesting how my field and your field they're
I know.
overlap like crazy. I never thought that it would be to that extent.
Yeah, I only realized it after reading that book.
Yeah.
I should have put the book up there actually.
You should. It's also a good book.
Yeah. But in what you study, do they also tell you about politics while you're studying it to make it a bit more easy to apply to the real world?
Not really. They mention it, but not really.
Okay, because it's already affecting you with where you can study. So you'd think that unis would try and educate the students a bit more to like help.
They have some modules about it.
Yeah.
They mention it from here and there, but definitely not much. In the US, they're actually more well-rounded. You have they teach you things outside of your degree, and for example, for UPenn, I could have those optional modules that have nothing to do with robotics. It was like entrepreneurship and this and that. It was like so many cool things. So US actually teaches you so many things outside of your degree, whereas UK is very, very specific to what you chose to study.
I didn't realize that. Is that why lots of people from the UK want to study in the US, like especially very entrepreneurial people, or is it more like kind of tax incentives? Or
There are many reasons. The reason why I wanted to study in the US is number one, because of that. And number two, I think you just want to get also the US connections, not only the UK connections, especially after I studied in the UK. Another thing is that I think Trump introduced this thing, is that if a company in the US wants to hire you, and you are not a US citizen, I might be wrong about this, I'm not too sure. They have to pay $100,000 to the government in order for you to be able to like sponsor your visa. I don't know exactly what that is, I might be wrong. But if you graduated from a US university, then you don't have to do that. So it's much easier for you to get a job in the United States, and the United States pay much more if you graduated from their university.
interesting. Because everyone I know from the UK, like uni students who are very ambitious, they all want to move to the US, and it's a big problem with the UK government. That I think I spoke to you about this beforehand. Like, there's lots of talks about how the government in the UK can bring in more youth entrepreneurship in, and it just seems like everyone wants to move to the US.
Yes, when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's mostly there's so many things about the US that make it so much better than the US. There is funding, which is what I've spoken to you about. It's just incomparable. There's so many more. It's just much easier, much faster in the US to get funding for whatever you're building. It's taxes, it's connections, it's talent. It's just incomparable. So yeah, it's not looking good for the UK. I can't lie.
But I think you also said that the UK isn't like too bad. There's compared to other countries.
Yes,
there are still benefits, but just not 100%. As good as the US.
Yeah, obviously, if you close yourself in this box with the US and you compare everything to the US, then yeah, everything seems terrible. But if you look at the entire world, then yeah, UK is probably, if not US, then it's probably Sweden, then UK. Maybe you could throw a Dubai somewhere. But yeah, obviously UK is still up there. Still a bunch of investors. Now it's getting more and more. A bunch of talent. After the US, obviously it's the UK when it comes to talent, because of Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, those LSE, those top tier universities. So yeah, UK is definitely a great place to be. Just not up there with the US.
Because you're from Russia. Did you go to school in Russia or?
Russia until I was 13. Then I went to Switzerland.
Yeah. And was it a no-brainer to study in the UK, or did you actually look at other countries as well?
I looked at Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Because Germany has great engineering schools and great engineers. I looked at Switzerland as well. They have great universities like ETH Zurich, like EPFL. But the problem with undergraduate studies in Switzerland is that they're not in English. The master's programs are in English, but undergraduate studies in like EPFL, which is great for engineering, are in French. ETH Zurich is in German. A good friend of mine, the son of my mentor from Turkey, he's from Turkey. He doesn't know German, but he really wanted to go to ETH Zurich to study, I think it was Mecheng. He learned German
Okay.
in like a year or two. He learned German, and it was very difficult for him to study, but he figured it out, and now he's at ETH Zurich, which is a great school for engineers.
Yeah, because I've been told that, yeah, that is a very good school.
Yeah, they have some partnership with OpenAI,
Mm.
and they're really good at robotics. They're actually incredible when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like Imperial level, I'll still put Imperial above it, but let's not start that debate.
From like your journey so far, what would you say was the best piece of advice you've ever been given and the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
You're asking good questions.
Thank you. I'll give some time to think. Adam had to think a long time for this one. I've started asking this, like the good and the bad one, to everyone because it's an interesting.
How long did
question.
Adam think?
I can't remember. He had to pause. I can't remember.
I might have to pause as well.
Yeah, okay.
The worst piece of advice is that, and it's not an advice really, but it's more of a statement that some people make and a belief that some people have, which is that you as an individual don't matter, that one person, that you cannot change the world, that you cannot go against the system, and that you just have to accept the reality as it is, like the political reality and geographic, like whatever it is. Whereas I believe that that's not true. I believe that one person, all it takes is one person to start that change that you want to make, and you can do anything, with obviously not by yourself, but with the right team. But again, all it takes is one person to make any change that you want. You can be unhappy about a political situation in your country. You can be unhappy about corruption. You can be unhappy about something and think that you don't matter and that you cannot change it and you have to accept that as a reality. But I really believe that one person, even if that person comes from nowhere, if he does the right things and makes the right decisions, then that person can, on a long enough time frame, make a massive change. And that's the one thing, let's call it a mind framework that I've adopted and I've been having in my head for the past 6 months, let's say, that you as one person can change the world. Yeah, that's definitely the one thing. And a lot of people are acting like this is not the case. And obviously it's you can be a bit delusional when it comes to that, but that's definitely that one thing. Obviously that's not answering your question. That's not the worst advice, but it is the worst belief, I would say, that people have. Some people. The best piece of advice. What did Adam say?
Go on a walk.
What?
Go on a walk.
What? Where's this guy talking?
Okay, wait, I'm gonna remember it. It was
He likes to walk.
like best piece of advice. He said it was in the same sentence, the person said to him, Adam, you're doing too much. Just go on a walk. He said doing too much was the worst piece of advice. Like, don't let anyone tell you, don't let anyone limit you, which is like linking on to what you said, like a limiting belief is just going to put you in a bad position. And then the best piece was the go on a walk. Whenever he's stuck, he goes on a walk and just thinks it through, which is what I do.
You go on a walk?
So I agree with that, but I wouldn't necessarily say that like that was the best piece of advice I've ever been given, ever. But I do think walks are great.
The best piece of advice for me was probably from my dad. He likes to say this thing many times. He told me, don't be scared. Whatever the situation that you're in, regardless of how bad it is, don't be scared. Just go forward and don't think about anything. So even if you're in the worst position possible, you just go forward and don't think about anything. Don't overthink. Just go forward, and God will put you in the place that you were meant to be.
I really like that. That's really powerful. You have good, bad, and worst piece of advice answers. That was good. Because, I think especially now with like social media, there's so much fear mongering. I think a lot of people just believe that they have like no chance to do anything, really.
Yeah.
Or like from who I speak to, a lot of people have really low hopes.
Overthinking is probably the worst thing that can happen to a person. You think too much, and you can be the best thinker, but
thinking only gets you so far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at some point, you have to stop thinking. Just stop thinking and do the action.
Just do it, like the Nike logo.
Just do it.
Yes. And on just do it, if you had to bet all of your money on one industry or one thing that's going to quadruple, triple, like anything in the future, what would you bet all of your money on? Not quadruple, like 100, if you had to bet all of your money.
Good question. Again. An industry.
Yeah, or a
I get what you
specific
mean.
company, something you're really keen on investing in.
Batteries. Batteries.
I've been speaking to people about this a lot recently because obviously renewable energy tech is growing a lot, and people are saying, well, solar turbines, like water turbines, windmills, they're all the same thing, but the difference is whether or not the batteries are efficient enough. So if anyone can solve the battery problem, then they're solving.
Yeah, I mean, people are trying to figure out solar energy and nuclear fusion, and there's so many ways that we can make energy, electrical energy. But if you don't store that energy, then it goes away. So batteries, there are a bunch of problems with lithium-ion, which are the most popular batteries right now. There are ethical issues with cobalt that they're mining in like Congo.
DRC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is Congo. Yeah.
Yes. Those transitional metal oxides, like basically cobalt, there are ethical problems with that. There are abundance problems with lithium. I think it will get more and more expensive. People are looking for alternatives. There are like sodium-ion batteries that people are looking into, but people always have to store energy, right? It has to be stored. So batteries will definitely be the one. People will keep finding new ways of I don't want to say making energy because that's not actually correct,
No.
of converting,
Yeah.
let's say, mechanical energy or thermal energy into electrical energy. But that energy has to be stored. So batteries.
You've heard it here first, guys. The engineer says invest in batteries.
Invest in batteries.
Yes. And last question, I like to ask this to everyone. If you woke up as, let's say, Prime Minister tomorrow, the UK, or would you like to say Russia?
Let's do Russia, because I don't know nothing about UK.
Yeah. Okay. If you replace Putin tomorrow, wait, maybe let's not say that. Okay, if you were head of Russia tomorrow,
Yes.
what would be the first thing you'd do or policy that you'd make?
I would invest in universities and just education in general to get young people to just, get young people to be more smarter. That wasn't correct grammatically, but I would give STEM people that study STEM, give them immunity from the military, so that there is some sort of incentive for people to study. And and they're doing that anyways, invest a lot in semiconductors. Russia is very, very behind China, very, very behind the US. Russia is not part of that supply chain that powers the world right now. They're super behind on that. And for many reasons, including the lack of talent. So I would do that. Russia needs more tech, needs more smart people, so that they can fit into that supply chain, which would not only help Russia to be, more technologically, let's call it, mature, but will also hopefully improve their political, let's call it, position. Because if you fit into that supply chain and you actually are willing to trade with other nations, and you're working with them on this big semiconductor industry, then it will just help the country in general. Not only Russia, but other countries as well. Just move humanity forward.
For sure. 100% agree, especially with starting off with education. I think everything stems from education.
Yes, 100%.
So that's really good. And okay, final thing. If you had to say one more thing to our audience as a closing remark, what would it be to help them along with their career journey?
Study engineering, study hard subjects, don't drop out.
Okay. Oh, you don't agree with the whole billionaire dropout romanticization?
Definitely not.
It's, if you look at the statistics, it's
You're not Mark
true.
Zuckerberg.
If you're not what?
You're not Mark Zuckerberg.
No. Yeah. It's only a small percent of cool billionaires that are dropouts.
Yeah, the people like to romanticize.
Yeah, romanticize
the stories, but the reality is, listen to Jensen Huang, listen to Jeff Bezos. These people did not drop out. These people educated themselves. Bezos was at Princeton. Jensen Huang was somewhere before he moved to Stanford. So they were actually very, very smart. They were hardworking teenagers. They were getting good grades. They were A students. They were not F students. And they got to good universities. They got a job in the industry, got familiar with the industry, and then they started their companies and they did super well for themselves. And that's, I think, the majority of actual billionaires. If you want to just some sort of financial independence and you want to just be okay, then yeah, sure, you can drop out. But if you want to aim as high as possible, then do not.
Yeah, you can't skip hard work.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you very much for speaking
Thank you very
today.
much for having me.
And you are officially a member of Kai's Circle.
Woo! Let's go.